More fashion, more fashion, more fashion, more fashion, more passion, more passion,
More passion.
more passion, more passion. Let's go.
More footwork.
Let's go.
More footwork.
Okay. We are talking fast fashion in this episode.
Yes, we are.
Bum, bum, bum.
Da-da, da-da.
Maybe we should get a soundboard in 2024. Maybe it would, like, pump it up. You know what I mean?
I would have so much fun.
You'll have to
And
do
also-
it. I'm not doing it. You're doing
Yeah,
it. I'm not doing
I
it.
know.
Okay, just so you know, like, when I say we, I mean you are getting a soundboard in 2024. I'm not getting a soundboard. Yeah.
Well, if you guys want a soundboard in 2024, you need to keep listening to this podcast and share it with your friends so we can get that ad revenue.
Yeah, baby. We're so
'Cause
close.
we're very close. We are.
Yeah, I'm
Did you
proud
see
of us.
my Uncle Sam ass story today?
I did. I loved it. I peeped on it and I was like, yes. Yes, there you go. 7. What? We crushed it.
Yeah. Sure did, bud.
Sure did. Sure did. My goodness. Okay, so we know how a lot of people feel about fast fashion. And we're going to talk about the downs. Okay, we're going to talk about the cons. But we are going to be talking about fast fashion from a fat-bodied perspective. Okay, and I feel like it's people try to be like, well, let's look at it from an ethical perspective, and like I would love to look at it from an ethical perspective. Of course, we're going to put that in mind, but keep that in mind. But also, like, we be fat people, and sometimes the rules that we have are different than the rules that other people have because we have limitations.
There's nuance. Something that I think the internet likes to forget about.
Ooh.
There's levels to this shit.
Oh, are they? Is there?
Huh?
That's what I meant to say. Is
Okay.
there? Not are they? Sorry. I'm like, the sleep
Are
is...
they?
Are they? The sleep is 0 when it comes to this girl over here. What?
Mentally, you're that Bratz doll meme that has the messy top knot on their head.
I am. I really am. Like, I worked 12 hours at the shop on Saturday, slept on the couch like this on Sunday, just dead. I was just dead. And then I got up early today to like do everything I had to do and go to therapy and everything like that. So
Bless your heart.
yeah, no sleep, no thanks. Smooth brain.
That's me all the time.
No. Okay.
But in case you guys weren't aware, 93% of brands surveyed by the Fashion Checker aren't paying garment workers a living wage.
Yeah, we're talking about the facts of fast fashion because we're not going to ignore the impact that fast fashion has on the world, that it has on the people of the world, it has on the world itself, and everything like that. We understand that there is an impact, so we're sharing that impact with you guys. Clothing production is the third biggest manufacturing industry after the automotive and technology industries. Textile production contributes more to climate change than international aviation and shipping combined. This is from the House of Commons Environment Audit in the UK. This is 2019. So
British.
So I'm sure it's bigger than this now. Like, I'm sure it's grown exponentially. We're getting all these from goodonyou.eco, fast fashion facts. Just for those that are going to be like, cite your resources. Here you go. Here are our resources, okay?
Also, that's just like really annoying.
Did you
I know
see
we
that?
need to. I know we need to cite sources. I didn't see whatever you're referencing, but I just hate that shit. Like I don't know. You're already on your phone, listening or watching to the thing. If you really want to know, you can Google it yourself too. But maybe that's shitty. I don't know.
Well, Google's free, but people tend to not believe that. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
they want us to do the work for them, or they're like, I don't think that's true. Remember the fat phobia episode? My goodness. My
Yes.
goodness.
Fucking ding dongs.
Oh my gosh. The minute we said like, hey, fat people don't make as much, they were like, show me. Show me. Show me, show me. And then when you were like, I was talking about, we had like a YouTube comment that someone unfollowed us because we talked about Reiki, and they were like, you guys, they said something like, we have no room to, and I think this was like a femme. They were like, you have no room to talk about like science when you believe in like Reiki and crystals or something. And I was like,
huh?
Yes, what a big mad baby. What a big mad baby, because we're more than because we talked about more than just plus size. That we talked about like our interests and what we personally practice and believe. Like,
sounds kind of like a Matt Rife-esque opinion, to be honest, because I know he doesn't believe in astrology.
Right.
So.
Which is, who cares? I think that's like the weirdest thing. Like, we don't care if you unfollowed us because you don't like that I'm a Reiki healer. Like, bye. Sorry. I'm not going to change it. Like,
there have been also so many studies that examine that type of thing. If they want to be science boy, there have been literal studies about how even just talking positively to your plants makes them grow better. That's energy.
Yeah.
So magic rocks and someone waving their hands over a body and sharing that energy, why is that forbidden?
I don't know. It cracked me up to read it. I'm like, you're literally vibrating. Like, we're all just vibrating. Like, I don't want to talk to you about this. Like, I literally don't care. Just in case you decided to still listen. Bye.
Yeah. I don't give a shit if people believe in that or not.
Me either.
You can be sciencey and woo.
Right. I think there's science behind the woo, and then like science like is theory most of the time. So it's like
until it's proven.
Right. So like don't you don't want the smoke. Anyways. Just can't with it.
No, I can't either.
Anyways, back to fast fashion.
I honestly was not aware that the fashion industry is responsible for 8 to 10% of carbon emissions. I would like to know if that's like number one, like if the fashion industry is the number one emission making industry. That was a bad sentence, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah. There was one that I didn't put in here. It did talk about the amount of like carbon that comes off of landfills. It was crazy. It was crazy. I was just like, we kind of talked about that, with these other statistics. So I didn't add it in here, but it did talk about like the amount of carbon that is emitted from the landfills and how like the landfills are filled with clothes. Each year, millions of tons of clothes are produced, worn, and thrown away. Every second, the equivalent of a rubbish truckload of clothes is burnt or buried in a landfill. So
I know that's especially prevalent with like high fashion brands. I know that this is fast fashion, but high fashion will literally burn the clothes that they don't sell rather than discount them.
That's wild. Why?
Right? Like, I don't know. Rich people are ridiculous for one, but I think it's just the fact that they don't want the poors to have access to it.
I don't even know how to react to that statement, because like half the poors, if like half of us are it's like 60% of the population is plus size, half of the poors wouldn't even be able to fit in their stupid freaking clothes. So
yeah,
like,
and honestly, by the poors, it's still people that make over 6 figures, but the people who can afford designer fashion, that it's even, they're in an even higher tax bracket. So it's the poors.
And we're doing quotation marks for those that are just listening to us. Okay. All right.
Anywho, let's see. Do I want to read that one?
Ugh.
Plastic particles washed off of products such as synthetic clothes contribute up to 35% 35% of the primary plastic that is polluting our oceans. Every time we do our laundry, an average of 9 million microfibers are released into wastewater treatment plants that cannot filter them.
Yeah.
What I would like that's gross. What I would like to know is why are they not trying to make advancements in our infrastructure to potentially try and filter those things and, you know, come at it from all angles in terms of preserving the earth?
I'm gonna have a take that is like such a bad take, and like it comes from such an uneducated stance, and I know this, but because men are too worried about going into space. I don't know why, but I'm so passionate about the billions of dollars that are being made to go into space when it's like, Kim, people are dying. Like, stop it. Stop telling me that you spent trillions of dollars to go to Mars. Like, hello. The earth is burning. Like, can we try to stop it? Like, I don't know. It's a really uneducated take, but it drives me crazy, and I know it's not related, but
I mean, it is loosely. Like, I get what you're saying. Whenever that stuff started making the news, like when Jeff Bezos said shit was going into space, I was like, wow, okay, so we're just living Interstellar right now. Like the movie.
Yes.
A movie that like broke my brain. It's still one of my favorite movies. I went to see it 3 times in theaters, and it was the first time that I was like, holy shit, like this could actually happen. Like everything just like clicked for me. Like in terms of only being able to eat like corn and shit. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, they don't give a shit. They could stop most of this if they just wanted to. It's the same reason that our infrastructure, like our power grid, is like 70 years old and they've never updated it. But
I know.
anyway,
it's hard. Sorry, guys. We're on tangents today, boy.
We will.
Okay. So yeah.
I don't know why I said well. Anyway.
Well, I mean, shit. So not only is it bad for the earth itself, it's affecting the air quality, it's affecting the oceans, it's affecting land quality. So we are aware that this industry, the fast fashion industry, is making a sizable, measurable impact on the earth.
Yeah.
But it's important for us to talk about how sometimes, as bigger bodies, fast fashion is the only option.
Yeah, especially like as a class standpoint.
Yes. That's literally one of the things that we talked about. This is that we're going to talk about. These are, quotes from refinery29.com. It was a interview that I want to talk about. I'm going to post this in the not the comment, but the description for you guys, because this was an interview with Mariella Elizabeth. I hope I'm saying Mariella Elizabeth. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm sorry. They're probably not going to ever listen to this podcast. I'm going to put the interview in the description, as well as a Gianluca Russo, Gianluca.
Gianluca, probably.
Gianluca. Ooh, okay. Russo. So some of the quotes are from Russo as well. But I really liked this article because it summed up so much what we've talked about privately and how we feel about this. And I think we're both going to share our opinions at the end and how fast fashion, like our personal experiences with fast fashion. But I think one things that I loved about this article is that it said ethical and slow fashion is a smaller market to begin with, which automatically means there are going to be even fewer plus size options when compared to straight size ones.
Facts. No printer.
Facts.
That's the whole issue with it, pretty much in a nutshell. Like, people already don't make inclusive fashion even when it's cheap. Like, Shein and Cider are pretty much alone in that. So
right. Yeah, I think one of a brand that I loved is called Cosmic Drifters on Instagram. Have you seen them before?
Mm-mm.
So they're really big on ethically sourced fabrics. And, you know, the owner is very transparent about how difficult it is to find these fabrics. And they're
Mm-hmm.
very size inclusive. I mean, they don't go up to like, you know, like a 6X or anything. So they're not like what we would deem today in 2023 size exclusive. But I think they
Yeah.
did go to like a 3X or something like that. And they were making just amazing, like witchy themed prints. And these designs were incredible, and it was slow fashion, you know. It was like
Mm-hmm.
her and like four other people making these clothes, and it would take months to get them, and they were expensive, you know, not like high designer expensive, but they were, you know, costly. And this is based in
Mm-hmm.
the UK. This isn't even a US brand, this is a UK brand. um,
Yeah.
and she even talked about how like she made an announcement that like she has like her black dresses that she's going to keep doing, like her black outfits, but that it is becoming more difficult to maintain a brand with the different prints that she has and these sustainable fabrics, just
Mm-hmm.
because the market is so dominated with other fabrics. With, you know, it's so hard to source this stuff ethically alone, like even from a distributor standpoint. So
Yeah.
if it's hard for them to make the clothes ethically, how hard is it to shop as a plus size person
Right.
ethnically? You know what I mean? I don't know. Ethically. That's what I
Yes.
meant. Yeah.
Ethically.
Ethically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the brand Selkie has expressed like similar sentiments. Like I think that they make dresses up to at least a 6 or a 7X, if I can remember
Mhm.
correctly. But their dresses are $200 or more per
Mhm.
piece. You know, like they're beautiful, but they are definitely an investment type of purchase. But they've posted on stories talking about like when their new collection drops, like how hard it is to source the fabrics and be able to afford to produce them,
Right?
because it's, you know, it's so expensive to do fashion ethically, and they already have a smaller like audience or like a smaller consumer base to begin with because of the price point of their clothes.
Mhm.
And they expressed those sentiments like before everything got as expensive as it is now. This was in
Right.
like 2021, I believe.
Gosh, everything's so expensive now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so bad.
It's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a big problem that the distributors are facing. That, you know, Selkie, I would still consider as this like a small business, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they consider themselves that, but I think if you don't have like shareholders and stuff, you know what I mean, like a board,
Yeah.
you know, and a board of executives, like you're still kind of small business. But this one's good too. It says plus size people, regardless of whether we're talking about ethical fashion or fast fashion, have really only been able to buy pieces in their size with any level of trendiness in the past few years. Many plus size people are still trying to figure out their sense of style and how they want to dress themselves. And I know this speaks personally with you and I. What we're going through right now is, what is our aesthetic?
Yeah. What's my style? Like, that's a perfect description of it. Like, we didn't have the options whenever we were teens and in our early 20s and stuff. Like, when straight size people were finding their fashions, like their fashion style and the things they liked and didn't like, there were so many things that were trendy that we just didn't even have the option to try.
Mm-mm.
And even now, like, I didn't have the access until after I lost weight because there were so many brands that didn't make a size like 4X or above anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cider's dope, but I think they only go up to a 4X if I
They
remember
only go.
correctly.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
correct.
So
Yeah.
I was shopping primarily in Torrid, and I was still basically stuffing myself in their larger sizes because that was what I had access to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really weird trying to find out what my style actually is.
But fun. But sad
It is
that
fun.
it's sad that it took you getting weight loss surgery to even have that opportunity.
Right.
Like,
and being 32 and figuring it out actively right now.
Right.
Like, I'm an adult. I'm a working professional.
Right.
And I'm figuring it out right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I feel weird. In some ways I feel like a kid.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely an inner child healing exercise that you're going through, for sure. For sure. I mean, that was one of the first things that I did was when I started inner child healing is I went to hottopic.com and I got the cutest clothes that my inner child would have wanted back in high school and middle school. Like the little emo Sammy that all she wanted was to dress like her emo friends, but she couldn't. They didn't make it in my size. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. I got cute clothes that satiated her or whatever you want to, however you want to say it, and made her feel special and loved and cool. And, you know, I still do stuff like that. Like every time I go into the shop and they're like, "Oh, you look like a spy," or because I was like wearing my leather jacket and Taylor was like, "You look like a spy," and I'm like, "Yeah." Or I wore my my fake fur coat that I got from Torrid actually, and I pretended that I was like Natasha, like the, you know, Russian ordered bride or something. It was so fun, you know. Yeah. But those options are just now available to us, like over the past couple years.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Do you think towards fast fashion, or would you say no?
That's honestly, that one's tough because I feel like the quality of the clothing for the most part is fast fashion, but the price point's not.
Yeah.
I feel like Tor is way overpriced for what we get.
I agree. I mean, I feel like they know that too, because I feel like this year I have seen them do 75% off more than I have ever seen them do before.
Good.
Yeah. It's
paying
been wild.
$70-$80 for a pair of Torrid jeans is asinine.
Yeah.
I won't do it now.
No, I'm not going to do it. No. When I found out any of the Torrid girlies in here, I just know like we're not anti-Torrid. I'm literally have, I think, Torrid pants on right now. Yeah. But they don't, okay, one, they price match online in store. So if you're in a store, Torrid store, and they have a sale going on online, pull up your phone, show the cashier the sale price, they will match it. I didn't find that out until this year, okay?
Yeah, I didn't know that till you told me. I was like, what?
Yeah, I saved so much money doing that because I'm not paying $70 for a shirt. I'm just not doing it. And I think it's important to talk about like what is fast fashion, like what we define as fast fashion. If it's cheaply priced, mass produced, right? Produced very quickly and not cheaply the best quality, cheaply made. Yeah. And that's where you get into the labor practices. You get into the textile production and the impact of that, as well as the throwaway, because it is cheap. So you wear it for a second and then you throw it away, right? Or donate it, and it goes into the Goodwill and then it goes into the garbage. So yeah, you know, let's see. Do you want to talk about the paid less part?
Yeah. So as I know we talked about this, I think in the fat phobia episode, but it's extremely well documented that fat people are paid less, that they're given less professional opportunities, and all of those things compound in a way that makes it harder for plus size people to confidently spend the amount of money that ethical fashion costs, that is the whole crux of the issue. Like, I don't know anyone that doesn't just flat out refuses to buy ethical fashion or like slow fashion. It's that they can't afford it. Yeah. Why spend $300 on a dress when you can spend $300 and get, you know, a dress, a pair of pants, and a shirt? Right. Or, you know, something along those lines. But no, it's a privilege to be able to buy slow fashion.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. And it's so when I bought the Dresden Lala stuff, and I don't know if they're ethical or not. I'm just saying, like, they're a small business and I wouldn't consider them fast fashion.
No.
It was a very difficult decision to make because of the price point. And it's like, why this is a high cost item and it's a piece of clothing. So because, obviously I don't make as much as I did when I was in corporate, it's like, is this the right decision? Or should I get, when you're thinking about, oh, I need pants, wouldn't you rather get more bang for your buck, when you don't make as much money? And I think that that's the choice that you have to make, is like, do you get one pair of pants for $200 or do you get like 4 pairs of pants for $200?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like people have to it's a very personal choice that people have to make. And, I don't judge them if they decide to get more bang for their buck, like,
right.
I think anyone that does is honestly really short-sighted, because how are you going to tell someone what they can and can't afford when $200 could be the difference between them eating for the week or keeping the lights on,
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. One thing I didn't actually consider, it was from Russo in this interview. And I actually didn't even look at it from this side. It said, as someone in the plus size fashion space, it's nerve-wracking to tag the brands I'm wearing on Instagram when I know the majority of them are fast fashion, but the truth is, that's all I have. As a plus size man, my options for clothing are abysmal.
Yeah. I know that when we had Danny on for his episode, that was something he mentioned as well, as a big and tall man. But plus size men are so underserved when it comes to clothing.
Absolutely. And do you remember that trend on TikTok of people going and getting like 6X men shirts, like straight size individuals, and they were like wearing them?
No, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it was like a trending thing. And it like, people in the community had to be like, hey, like, stop. Like, you're taking this away from like men that already don't have any options, like none. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like what I talked about in I don't remember what episode it was at this point by the time this comes out, but when I talked about the discussion on Twitter about that with thrift stores, it's the same thing. Like, stop taking clothing options from people when that's the only option that they have.
Right. Yes.
If you want a big shirt, like, figure out how to make it yourself. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but people, unless you want to see fat people naked in the streets because they can't find clothing, like, stop buying it. Just stop.
Yeah. Because I think that it's, and it's like a double-edged sword. And not double-edged sword. It's an unwinnable situation, because as a fat-bodied person, they're like, okay, don't buy fast fashion. And you're like, okay, got it. I'll thrift. And then you go to thrift and there's no options. So you're like, okay, I'll buy what I can afford. And they're like, okay, well, that's not trending. So ew, look at how you're dressed. And you're like,
yeah,
okay, then I will buy fast fashion so I'm on trend and I can like fit in and feel good and, post and feel like a member of society like everybody else. And they're like, ew, fast fashion, you're gross. And it's like, what do you want them to do? There's no winning in this situation or pleasing anyone.
I don't think they want us to. I don't think they want us to win, honestly. I feel like no matter what we do, they will still find an issue with it, because ultimately people don't want to see fat people exist.
Yes.
And it's just they're just going to keep finding ways to push people towards losing weight, when it's like, okay, I can't drop 100 pounds overnight to buy a pair of pants, but
right.
That's ultimately what they want. Like, be thin or go away.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Fuck. That's so true. That's so true. This one was good too. It was said that I think the vilifying of influencers that are helping people feel better about their bodies and helping people feel more confident in whatever clothing they choose to wear and whatever means they have to buy that clothing is not a way to sell people on ethical and sustainable fashion.
Mm.
That reminds me when you always say like shaming someone isn't a way to like help someone.
Yeah. Shaming doesn't work.
Shaming doesn't work. And that's exactly what that said to me is like telling an influencer or the fat person on your feed that was lucky enough to get a brand deal anyways to pay their bills and being like, wow, like and we're not talking, I want to be very clear. I'm not talking about the influencers that went to like the Shein factory and was like, it's so ethical here. Like, look, like I'm not talking about that. Okay. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the person that has like 500 followers and got a brand deal and it happened to be with Shein and finally is, showing fat visibility.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about. Not someone with like millions of followers that got paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to, lie about the ethical practices. We're not lying about, we're not ignoring the problems of fast fashion, but what we are saying is like, don't put it on the individual. It's the industry's it's an industry issue.
Yeah, it's like anything with climate change. Like they got so focused on plastic straws that they just glossed over the fact that pollution, like 90% of it comes from corporations, or that might not be the exact percentage, but it's extremely high. But they tell you to bike to work and don't use plastic straws instead. Like what?
Exactly. Like I'm real big on the like private jets. Like
I just saw something today about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Like, God, I wonder if I could find it, about how much jet fuel they've used and wasted because of their relationship.
Right.
I honestly want to find it now.
Yeah. And I know like it's easy to talk about them as like celebrities and stuff because they're the ones that are visible, guys. They're the ones that like we're able to see and track, that we can like measure their impact because they're public figures. We're not saying like we hate Taylor Swift and we don't support her and Travis's relationship before this escalates. That's not what we're saying. But we are saying is these are only two people that have access to this type of wealth and this type of convenience of travel, which has a measurable impact on the earth. That's what we're saying. And if these two people have access to that, think of the other thousands of other people that also have impact to this.
Yeah, I mean, can't we say that we're hating?
I don't hate Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie, but I don't hate Taylor Swift. I kind of respect the hustle, but game recognizes game, so I get it.
I think she makes good music, but I think she's a trash person, and that has nothing to do with Travis Kelce, and I don't really care if people get mad at me about it. She uses black women as props, but anytime she does anything, people come out and defend her. Like, I feel like she could, I don't even know, but I'll die on that hill. I don't care.
Hayley will die on this hill, and I'm just like, respect that.
We share a birthday. Yeah. I can talk shit about her.
Sagittarius queen coming through. Sagittarius energy coming through right now.
But I will also talk shit about Kylie Jenner because she used her private jet to go from one side of Los Angeles to the other. So, fuck her. Yeah, she did like 30-minute flights with her private jet.
No.
Instead of I'm not actually it was like a 30-minute drive and she opted to fly instead.
Okay, yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Kylie Jenner fan, so I mean, I was back in the day as a makeup girly. I think she had us all in kind of a chokehold.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, yeah. So she's gotten my money, so she doesn't. I don't care. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel bad for Kylie Jenner. I feel bad for all of the Kardashians.
You feel bad for them?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because they they were able to experience like what it was like to have a normal childhood, and then they lost it with fame, and then they took that normal childhood from their kids, and I
Yeah.
think that created like a new generational cycle of trauma, and I feel bad,
Yeah.
you know.
I would agree with that. I think
That's
that they're
sad.
problematic, but
I mean, they're billionaires. I've never met a non-problematic billionaire.
there isn't one.
Yeah, so
Even Rihanna, even Beyonce.
Rihanna, that broke my heart. That broke my heart. Speaking of fashion, speaking of fast fashion.
Oh yeah, how bad Savage X Fenty, like the quality of their clothes is, like in terms of how
Yeah.
harmful they are to you.
Yes.
Okay, I found it. Taylor Swift produces 138 tons of CO2 emissions in 3 months to see soulmate Travis Kelce in her, I think, $40 million private jet. So, I don't know, like that's a big ass number. I don't know what to compare that to.
Right.
But it ain't zero.
Right. And again, we're using that as a saying, like, don't put that on the individual, right? Us, people that are going like me once a year to Costa Rica on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be like, no, like, stop flying for business. Like, I know that you have a job that's making you go to New York or whatever. Like, how dare you be flying when it's like people like this exist in the world, right? That have different options and aren't taking them, is what we're saying. Or could maybe contribute more to, you know, the research. But I mean, Taylor Swift does give back. So I'm on the fence. I don't want to talk about Taylor Swift anymore. I don't
really either, but
okay.
It's because she's trash.
Right. Okay. So, all right. The last thing we're going to say when it comes to this article is I loved the ending where it was basically like, I think collectively the goal should always be to consume less and make better purchases. But I think the way in which we view ethical, sustainable, and slow fashion needs to hold space for people that have different barriers that they are facing, whether that be size, whether that be gender, whether that be disability, whether that be race. I feel like that was such a mic drop moment.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. That's such a good summary of the of where we should be going, for sure.
Yes. And I think we are consuming less as a society. I think so. This year has been less. I mean, I wouldn't say the Christmas holiday season has been less. I'm not gonna lie, but I would say
we can't afford
in general, it's because we can't.
I mean, that's a lot of it.
That's a lot of it. I know. Yeah.
The one thing that I will say about a fast fashion company, aside from everything that we've already listed, like as the cons, I would love it if people stopped shopping at Shein just because of how many reports come out with like mercury and lead in their clothing, in their bedding, in their makeup that they sell. That is so like, and I'm sure it's in a lot of other companies, but I know for sure that it's in Shein. Please be careful.
Yeah.
Do not mess with your health like that.
No. I had to get like a scan done a couple years ago. This was like before COVID. And they made me take off my underwear and my bras because of the metals in them.
Huh?
Yes. They were like,
I mean,
hey,
like, I get the underwire, but like...
No, I didn't have underwire on. It was like in the fabric. It was woven into the fabric. They were like, hey, we've been seeing more and more metals be woven into fabric. You have to take this stuff off. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Metals? Like what? Like, should we all just not wear clothes? Like, what do you want us to do? Is it killing me? Like,
yeah, it is. That is fine. It's killing all of us.
I mean, my mom's cancer was, they were like environmental, and we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this could again could be a whole other episode, but like how shoddy our food quality is, the
Ugh.
stuff that they put in our clothes, the stuff that's in the soil, the
Mm-hmm.
microplastics that are
Mm-hmm.
all over the earth at this point, even places that humans haven't been.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
In our blood.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild. Like, it's just the United States is like a nation that wants its people sick and reliant on big corporations.
Yeah, it's a business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
horrible. Like,
yeah. We live here. Yay. So,
it's great.
Hayley, what are your opinion? What are your quick in our wrap up? Let's talk about our summarized opinions on fast fashion.
So, other than what I already said about Shein, about not risking your health, I feel like it's just a personal choice about what you can and cannot afford. Like, speaking as someone who has like a full-time day job, like a corporate job, like my money does not go as far as it used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found myself being like more and more reliant on fast fashion, like from Target and Boohoo and Cider, because when since I'm in the process of trying to find my style, like not only can I not afford $100 an outfit or more, like $100 per piece of clothing to determine what my style is, like because everything has gotten so expensive, I can't afford the clothing that I was buying previously. Like I can't afford Madewell or, Levi's unless it's on sale. And I
Mm-hmm.
love those brands, but for the most part, like if I need a basic, I'm going to Target.
Right.
And, for fun stuff like that I'm not sure about, I can't justify paying a ton of money unless it's like I'm damn sure that I'm going to love it, like the Dressed in Lala stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But even that, it's like I bought a single sweater and I asked my husband for a sweater dress for Christmas
Mm-hmm.
because everything that I want from there would be like $2,000.
Right.
I can't afford that.
No. Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I also love cider for fun stuff. When it comes to fast fashion, I think that fat people have been an easy villain
Mm-hmm.
to play the role in this game. And I just think that that's not fair. There are like billions of influencers out there that are straight size that use fast fashion. And I think that they don't get as much heat as plus size people do, when plus
No.
size people already like don't have many options, especially if you want to be trendy. And I think that it's a difficult choice to make, but that all of us have to make when it comes to money and clothing. Some people are villains for shopping at Walmart, and other people are villains for shopping at Target or Shein or Cider. And it's like, not everybody is aware of the statistics and the practices of these places.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that it's so easy online when you put something out there to receive a lot of hate when it's like you may not have known. Like,
Yeah.
I
Unless you're
just,
chronically online, you won't know
you
about a
won't
lot of
know.
things.
Yeah, and that was like a big thing, is like I didn't understand the Walmart thing. I didn't understand like their political views and where they put their money in, and like I had to
Mm-hmm.
learn that on TikTok. But if I hadn't happened to be shown that video, I would have never known. And I feel
Yeah.
like that can go for fast fashion. Like someone that's a random consumer and sees cider as a like a website or like an advertisement and buy something, I don't think that they should be like dogged and like just
Mm-hmm.
paraded in the streets for the downfall of the earth. Like,
Yeah.
not everybody has access to that information, and not everybody has the privilege to shop slow fashion like we were talking about. And so it just makes you I think there's no winning in making someone feel bad. If they're open to a conversation of the impact, of course, but at the end of the day, plus size people don't have many options,
Mm-hmm.
and that tends to get ignored, and it's
Yeah.
frustrating. Like, I just now am able to, like, I think I got like a set from Cider, and it's like I love it, but I'm scared to post in it. I'm scared to go out in it and, you know, wear the cute little celestial belts that you see everyone else wearing. We all know they came from cider. We all know where these belts come from. But I'm scared to like show up online with it because I don't want to receive hate when it's like I didn't have an option for where I could get a cute celestial belt. Cider's the only place that had it in my size. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
options are so limited and it makes you feel like you're a bad person for shopping fast fashion. And I don't think that that is impacting the practices at all. It's impacting the person.
Yeah. But I also think that if you're making these decisions to shop fast fashion, like whatever decision you make, it's valid. But I also think that you need to be brave and wear the, like, it helps no one to buy these clothes from Cider and not wear them,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, if someone could have a problem with you buying like a $500 dress because it's like, wow, that's so expensive. Like, that could feed so many people. And yes, it could. But you have to, I don't want to say it like you have to be tough and like stand by your decisions, but if you are trying to avoid hate with every decision you make, like you're never going to make a decision because people are also going to give you shit for anything that they don't like.
Yes, Hayley.
So
Yes.
wear the belt.
Take them to church. Take them to fucking church. Yes. My God. Spit. That was so true. To be, I mean, in general, though, to be fat bodied and to be plus size is to be brave. You really don't have another choice when you're showing up online and going out in public.
Literally.
So you don't.
That's why, that's such a great point. It's like, what's a belt at this point?
Yeah. What's a belt? What's a belt, you guys? We hope you enjoyed this episode. We're wrapping up. Where can they find us, Hayley?
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Plus Size Section, on TikTok at the Plus Size Section. If you want to tell us about really great, sustainable, slow fashion brands that we should check out, you can send them to us at theplussizesection@gmail.com. If you want to help us get a soundboard in 2024, please give us a little rating and review and share this podcast with your friends, because I, for one, would enjoy being more obnoxious on this. So
Great. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.